For today's Create This Book episode, we're using acrylic markers to complete the 2 weirdest prompts. I think you're going to enjoy this one. Honestly, both of these prompts are the kind of ones that I would completely avoid if I wasn't filling this in order. I've got these acrylic markers because we're using them straight on the paper, and I'm also grabbing the colour pencils. I don't know if we're going to use these because the first prompt is to create a hairstyle. Add unique hairstyles you may want to try out. And as you can see by this chaotic sketch, I have an idea. And the first colour we're reaching for is orange, the colour that I will never ever choose. But there's a reason. Not only is this one of the craziest prompts in the Create This book, we've also got these little drawings. Now, I don't know what most people do for this prompt. I imagine there are some people that completely cover up the initial sketch because there's just random heads. And I did think about that, and then I thought of another idea. As you may or may not be able to tell, I haven't been to a hairdresser's in years. I cut and dye my hair myself, but I have some pretty vivid memories of going as a child and picking up those wild magazines. You know when you're sat in the waiting room and that's all there is? So you pick up these hair magazines and they are the most crazy things, especially as a child, because you're looking at it like, who would style their hair like this? And I guess thinking about it now, the whole point was that they were odd and unique and showcasing creativity, but it also seems a little bit weird to store those magazines in a hairdresser's to inspire people that will never choose those haircuts because they are crazy. Crazy colors, crazy styles. You'll never see anyone in real life with those kind of haircuts. And not only that, but the magazines are often so full. Some of them are filled with so much color, and that's what we're going for today. It's a combination of those crazy hairstyles and those themed pages that you'd get in like a cosmopolitan magazine or something, where they've just gone crazy on Photoshop and filled every single part of the page. That's the inspiration for today's piece. But it's also kind of like those magazines you'd get as a teenager. Well, people probably still get them now, but I haven't bought a magazine in years. And there's text all over the page. There's a ton of different fonts. There's different colors, boxes, shapes, real people, drawings, random items just pasted on the page. That's the inspiration we're going for. So I think these acrylic markers are really gonna work. Half the reason I have chose these ones is because a lot of the other ones are a little bit too juicy. Working on a page like this, I'm very much picking up a color, putting it down in several places, and then picking up the next color. So I don't want this paint to stay wet for a really long while. Otherwise, I'm gonna dunk my hand in it, like I often do with acrylic markers. Honestly, it's so easy to forget that they are actually paint that needs to dry because they're so easy to use. They are just like pens. Obviously, the text boxes are full of squiggles. I'm not gonna come up with random words. I wouldn't even know what to write. But we do have headings, and this is actually what they write. I found a couple of references, and this is kind of what those magazines look like. Though, if I'm being completely honest, I really easily could have just painted a portrait and stuck it on this page. So much of me did not want to actually use those little floating heads. But I need to remember this is an art prompt book. It's not a sketchbook, it's not an art book, it's a prompt book. So I need to actually use the prompts. Sometimes I get a little bit stuck in my head with the Create This book, because if I get stuck on an idea for a prompt, I can overthink it and lose every single idea I ever had, or I go down a completely different rabbit hole that is nothing to do with the prompt. So I'm still trying to find that nice middle ground. And I say that I am filling this book in order because so far I am, but you might have noticed if you have your own Create This book free that we've actually skipped 2 prompts prompts. A lot of it is out of my control. We skipped a couple of pages because I've actually filmed it as part of a collab with other artists here on YouTube, and sadly I won't be able to show you that video until everyone's filmed. So we're on to these pages. I will still be filming every single page for you guys. It just won't be shown in order, because also if I'm collaborating with a brand for certain episodes, obviously those will need to be prioritized as well, and they'll come out a little bit earlier. If I'm doing other collabs with other artists, if I want to create any themed pieces to keep it interesting and spice things up, I have a few ideas for that, about completing a couple of prompts at a time that fit a certain theme. That's something that I'd like to explore. I think it could be a lot of fun. So whilst I'll be filling the majority of this book in order, you might not be seeing it in order, and there might be some outliers that are filmed separately or created in advance, because right now I am quite a few episodes ahead. I think I'd always like to be ahead with the Create This book. I'd like to be at least 2 or 3 episodes ahead at any time, because I want to make sure that I'm bringing out these videos frequently for you guys. I know a lot of you do enjoy them, and I like making them too. I'm loving how this book is coming along, and honestly I'm loving how much I can experiment with it. We use tons of different mediums and styles, so really I'd like to be putting out a new episode every 3 weeks. And with that, let's move on to the second prompt. Create a contest. Create a contest you know you would win. Let's pop the book out the way and bring out this pink sheet. Funnily enough, this is actually from the first week in the Daily Doodle Diary. I think it was the 2nd of January. We painted a piece for Burb Fest, and this is actually the other half of that piece of paper that I painted pink. It's a really lovely shade. It's acrylic gouache. I think it might be pale lilac. You know what? Holbein makes some really lovely pastel shades. What are we doing right now? What are we doing for this prompt? Well, if you haven't guessed it already, a contest that I know I would win is the most teas drunk in one day. Absolutely. Especially since it's cold outside. It's still cold where I am. I'm super excited for spring and summer, but it's very much tea weather. And I drink anywhere from like 3 to 5 teas a day. But how cute is this color palette? I was planning to use more, but I think since we just created something that was crazy, literally using like every single color, I think we'll keep this one simple. So it's a stack of mugs, but they're not really mugs. They're like little teacups, like little afternoon tea teacups. And the color palette did change as I was going along. Really, I was just seeing what I felt at that moment. Sometimes I popped down a color and then I was like, no, this isn't really going, because they're all stacked on top of each other. Sometimes the colors just don't match what they're next to. And I wouldn't say that this is perfect. The orange is looking very orange. That cream shade is a little bit questionable. But you know what? We're just going with the flow. We're having fun. I still think the color palette is cute. It's simple but very muted. Not a single bright shade in sight, apart from the weird kind of purple frame border. But you know what? I kind of think it works. And with that, I want to add some cute little details. I don't know what these are. I would call these the weird little lines that I sometimes add to my thumbnails on YouTube. They're just like squiggles and marks. I don't know. I don't really know what's on either of the mugs. I don't really know what's on all the cups as well. We're kind of making a subtle pattern, maybe a little bit of floral, some polka dots, checks, stripes. We're really just going with the flow here. I've actually only done afternoon tea once, and it was cute. I wouldn't mind doing it again, but it's a lot of money for what you get. You kind of sit there with a tea and some fancy cakes and sandwiches, and it's very expensive for what it is. Do you know what though? It would actually be lovely to do something like that, like an old tea house or something where you have to dress up to get in. I would love to do that. that's not what the one that I did was. And I feel like as a Brit, I probably should have done it, but they're still really expensive. So instead, I sit at home making my teas, my infinite number of teas. I have to start the day with a cup of tea, otherwise I'm very grumpy, and sometimes I'll substitute it for something else. It feels like I've started my day completely wrong, and I'm just set up for failure. And I think that might be an addiction. Sometimes I have a mid-morning tea, I have a lunch tea, I have an afternoon tea, and then obviously I need a decaf tea before bed, which recently has been cardamom. Cardamom teas are actually really good if you haven't tried them. Obviously I do drink other things, much less than tea. And not this cute. Like, look at it. But if we go back to this book, we have another side. So what's going to be on here? Can you believe all of this mess though? We've literally used every single marker, but we're still going to keep with the cute color palette, all the lovely pastel shades, blues, purples, pinks, browns, and this lovely cream, which is actually working now. Well, for this idea, I wanted to make something cute. The first prompt was odd, so now I wanted to make something fun. We've got this stack of teas, and to go with that, this cute little tea on a saucer with a biscuit and a little macaroon. This is honestly the cutest, and there'll be more to go on this page, but the reason I did this is because I had this idea in my mind, like, how cute would it be if that first piece was a print and this cute little tea on a saucer was a sticker, and you could get both of them as a set? Like, how cute is that idea? I don't even have my shop yet. It's still in the process, and I've got so much art to go on there, and I don't even know if this one will be there. But still, originally I really wanted this design to be for Patreon. I'm currently in the process of making it, and for a long while they'll only be digital tears, but I guess I was thinking that if all of that went to plan, I would love to offer physical tears in future, where you could get a print or a sticker or both shipped right to your door. Like, how cute would this be? But I think I was very optimistic with the timeline because the Patreon isn't even ready yet. Well, that's a goal for future. That's something I would love to do, and I'm still gonna keep this as an option because I really want that to happen. Like, look at it. How cute would it be as a sticker? And before we continue, we need to scan it. The first one, that would be a lovely print, and then the sticker straight in the book. And honestly, I'm so excited about this concept, especially the sticker. Like, how cute would that be? But it's looking very plain, so we need to add the words, we need to tell the story, and most importantly, we need to actually follow the prompt. I forget, I don't know if you can tell, some episodes we very loosely follow the prompt. We just kind of create art. So now we're making two very literal prompts, which I'm probably gonna completely skip past in the next one as well. I forget. I don't know how literal you're supposed to be with these prompts, honestly. I guess everyone takes it differently, and I genuinely love seeing other people's pages in the Create This book because everyone goes such different ways. Like, it's really inspiring, and I'm having so much fun with this series. So if you're enjoying it too, make sure to give this video a like, and why not check out the playlist if you haven't already. Everything's already in there, and we're filling this book pretty fast. But seriously, I cannot get over this color palette. Maybe I need to use orange a little bit more. But I don't know, how literal do you take these prompts? Do you follow the first prompt? Do you follow the sentence underneath? Or do you just create art? I would love to know. What do you do for any of the art prompt books? And with that, we are almost done. The very last step is to glue in this print. Unfortunately, it is printer paper, so it was quite bumpy and not really the perfect fit. So we're coloring in the gaps. I can't believe we used all of these paints for this crazy first page. Can you believe this up close? Can you believe all of these tiny little details? I would love to see the second as a print and sticker, honestly. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you've enjoyed this one. Subscribe for more Create This Book fun, and I'll see you in a few days. Bye bye.